Hello everyone, this is Sean Lewis doing a voiceover recording analysis of a match between myself and Kyle Kleindl. At the time of recording, Kyle is a 540 Fargo. My Fargo is 668. It's going to be a 9-ball, race to 9, alternate break. Kyle has the first break. So in these videos, my goal is to assist in developing players' ability to compete against a skilled opponent, which I'm one of enough, I suppose, with 668 Fargo, or at least how to compete against a 668 Fargo, although since I already know what happened, let's see what's going on. So he made the 1. I might have tried to go for a little bit more position, but it's pretty far from the 1 was far from the pocket, so possibly not. And obviously that was just under hit. I would have considered playing, just rolling the 2 to play like a similar shot that he played at the beginning on the 1. Play safe here, looks like a good right shot. I think he just caught it too full. Slightly thinner. Then the 4 would be down on the table a little bit, and then the cue ball would be behind the 6 and the 7 potentially. Pretty good shot. I can see just the side of the ball, so I'm just going to play to try to bank the 4 under the 9, and then play the cue ball back through the gap of the 5 and the 9, and just try to create some distance, or also hopefully get like a snooker. Pretty good. You can see the edge of it, but I don't think it's worth trying to make it. The 6 is tied up behind the 7, so that needs to be dealt with. So I might play safe here to try to bank the 4 to the side rail and leave the cue ball on the other side rail. To do that, I probably try to use maybe inside English so that the 4 will like check on the rail and go straight up higher, and then the cue ball will have a little bit less distance off the rail. That looks like he may have just hit it too thin. So I'm just playing to draw the ball out to give myself an angle. I think it's worth going for a breakout here. Otherwise, I'll just play safe. Could just try to like go for it playing safe. I don't see that much point in that. You could maybe break it out. Got the breakout. Let's play this like high left. Overcut this ball slightly. Just to leave it a little bit of an angle on the 7 for the 9. I got 2 straight here. I maybe should have taken a look to see where I needed to be with the cue ball a little bit better, because I thought the 7 was closer to the rail and actually was off the rail a little bit. It's making this shot much more difficult. I wanted to have an angle. I was playing that actually to cut it to the left, so I overstroked that quite a bit. Maybe I should have gone for more. And end up just missing by a little bit. Should have probably taken a look at the 9, going down the barrel of it just to make sure I have the correct contact point. I played that rack pretty well once I actually had a shot. So I did get out of line from the 6 to the 7, and then that kind of carried forth through onto the 9 ball. Good shot. It's 1-0. Made 2 balls with the shot on the 2. Looking at it here, I think I might try to just like punch off the rail and go straight at the 3. I did go under it, but that worked out. Under the 9, trying to get above the 3. It's a pretty good angle, turns out. Sort of follow here to play for the 4. Pretty good. There's a little bit more angle than this. It'd be difficult to play the cue ball naturally forward to go under the 9. A little bit more angle would cause the cue ball to go to the side rail and then play a little bit high, in which case I might need to use like a touch of left English. The way it is, it's pretty much just a straight top and playing the pace of it so that you get a little bit of forward motion. That's why the cue ball went so far. If you hit that softer, it wouldn't release and go forward, and you might be hooked or like frozen and straight in. Overhit this ball. I was basically like ball in hand where I was. So it's kind of disappointing. I think I'm going to cut this ball. Actually, really good. A little bit on the wrong side of this 8. So I kind of like cue up with topspin and try to stun follow. I think if you just play follow, it can scratch. So I was trying to stun it to get tangent line and just miss the ball. Seems like a little bit of nerves there. One thing I'm going to try to work to do here on this set is identify any inconsistencies in myself or Kyle as far as the way we're cueing action, getting into the ball, even like while you're standing in an address, so that we can get more consistent. Hit that 2 full. Left myself another tough shot. I think on the last 9, which is similar to this one, I feel myself hitting like differently than I wanted to on the last stroke. See, on that stroke, I could see that it was just kind of not a smooth backswing with a good transition to the forward stroke. So I'm dealing with a little bit of mental issues with that. One of my priorities with playing is to have the smooth stroke, like Kyle did there, 2-0. Kyle's break. Dry break. On this table, I like to hit the break pretty much dead full with like a stun follow, really, but hard enough to where the cue ball will bounce off the rack, and then the follow, like the stun run through, is just enough to make the cue ball stop moving. And that puts enough power to generally make the wing ball. And I can, decent percentage of the time, make another ball. Just hit that too hard and scratched. I was really trying to play it towards the 6 to bump that so that scratch wouldn't be there. So I just hit that one. So here what I like to do is play it in the corner and then play the cue ball 2 rails, side rail to the other side rail to the gap between the 3 and the 4. If you end up a little bit thin on the 3, then the cue ball should just hit the rail and go back up into the 9 and trap it a little bit, which would give you the angle on the 4 that you need. And that takes away the combo. So I'd be playing basically the cue ball to the right of its current position, and then just playing it 2 rails. You could even play it 1 rail and then try to draw towards the 4, just to get lower without letting the 4 trap you and get behind it. I don't know that I would be that interested in drawing towards this combination. So I'm going to try to play to leave an angle, just draw straight back here, or just go up table a little bit, just a little bit, so I can maintain the angle on the 4 to go 1 rail and then get kind of straight in on the 5, shooting it into the side. But I made a mistake and I overdrew, so now I have to play it for the corner. And this is just going to be low and left, and I'm just going to draw it just enough to get it headed towards that 5 and leave a decent angle here. I want it to be off the rail so that I didn't have to cue off the rail. Now I can use the draw stroke and then go side to side back to the middle of the table for the 6. So I've been forced to, you kind of be forced to adapt to what you're doing based on what's happening and not get married too much to the shots themselves. You just have to kind of rely on your batch of skill to take you to the finish line. So here I think just drawing back 1 rail with right English, a little bit of right English to twist it off the rail to get straight in on the side is a good shot. You could go forward, but it's a little bit straight in, I think, for that. Pretty good. Now here you can play it short to try to not go to the end rail, but I like to go down to the end rail and back up on a lot of these shots just to kind of like give myself a little bit more confidence to make the ball because I'm not slow rolling it so much, and then relying on my speed control of a little bit of a longer distance. And it wasn't so crucial that I get straight in or any particular angle, like close to straight in on either side is fine. I came up a little bit high of it, so on this shot I just need to use right English and high, just a touch of right and high, to just get it to go down table just a little bit like that. If I had been on the other side of it, I could just trickle to the other side. Alright, score is 2-1. A little bit thin on the one in the side. The position is a little bit touchy because I need to get from the 2 to the 4, and the 4-7 is not particularly easy. And then the 9 is kind of blocking the prime spot that you'd want to be to shoot the 4. So I'm playing the 1 in the side, and then I'm trying to stay below the 2, like where the cue ball is now. I used a little bit of right English, and I think that caused me to throw the 1 a little bit too far to the right and miss. Because I did hit both points and come out. I got a little bit lucky with the sleeve. You can't really, in that situation, I'm playing all out to make it, so it's like to even concern yourself with where it might go if you miss is sort of counter to the whole point of the shot. I like a 1 rail kick here, 2 rail kick maybe. Just barely missed. That would have had some merit if you would have made it, then it could have potentially ended up with a pretty good shot. Really, I'd like to get to the lower angle below the 9 for this 4 ball. The only issue is that leaves a small window of good position. And then if you stay above the 9, then now you have to deal with hitting the 7. I was trying to leave myself more angle than that. So already I'm kind of like making several mistakes here with my position. Missed 2 9 balls. And not like that stroke. Felt like I lunged into it. Using inside English there. Still developing that inside English stroke shot. I think in this set that's the first event, but I know at least one other time I had that shot and missed in this set. So I'm going to spend some energy working on that, but a lot of it I think is I had trouble deciding what my visualization was going to be, so there's a couple things to think about there. I think I had a little bit of lack of decision making causing some of my struggles here, so I think go up and down here is a good shot. I don't know how hard that was to make. I thought maybe cutting it and then going up and down with the cue ball was a good idea. So I'm going to bank the 2 right at the 7 and try to leave the cue ball behind the 5. Pretty good shot. I think I've taken away the direct hit, now he has to cut it or kick at it. I think you want to kick it towards the 9 ball, but pretty full. You might use a little bit of left English here to try to kick it towards the 2 to get a fuller hit, so the cue ball won't travel as far. It's a good shot too, just playing across the face of it. I think I'm going to try to kick this ball on the side. If I make it in the side, then the cue ball could potentially bump the 6 and trap it to leave an easier shot on the 4, so it's worth trying it. Or if I play it off the 4, it could go, or it could, if I had it like full into the 4, then the cue ball is going to do some different things. So just hit it a little bit thin. Here you just have to decide what angle the tangent line is here, and I think you just don't want to hold it. I think he plays it to hold it and doesn't get there. Just barely rocked off the point, left me a thin hit, but then I played the point. Played the point to play shape for the 4 ball. Once you understand kind of the physics of what's going on, you have to realize that the points are sometimes in play for you to play shape off of, and it's just the way it is. If you hit it properly, it won't scratch, so you just need to know, okay, what will it do when I hit it at this angle with this speed and this English, and that'll help you predict where the cue ball is going to end up once you hit it. And you can practice and practice and practice and get even better at it. It's just up to you to decide how good you want to be able to be playing off the points. Like there's famous shots of Efren like playing off the point to kick a ball in the corner, millions of views, and maybe he didn't know precisely that it was going to work, but he knew that he was going to get close, and that was his best shot at the time. If you haven't practiced that kind of shot, then it's just not a shot that you can shoot at. So adding more different looks of different kinds of shots and Englishes that you're good at just improves your percentages to run out all the time. So here I just have to punch this to the end rail. If I draw it, I could scratch, so I need to make sure I use punch, and I'm playing left English to turn it down table, not withdraw, but left English once it hits the rail. So here I'm just going to play inside spin to try to create a little bit of distance between the 7 and the cue ball. As it is, if I just played it forward, it would kind of roll towards the ball and make it difficult. Alright, so this is a pretty good angle. I just need to punch it. Like sliding ball. Decent amount of power because it's fairly straight in. And then just come back to straight in. too much draw there. I should wanted to be a little bit straighter and not as high up. Although that's a good distance, really. It's a pretty good shot to shoot. It's just not exactly what I was planning for. Score's 2-2. Made a ball with shape. I think I just want to slightly overcut the one. Maybe with a touch of inside to go to the side rail and give yourself a little better angle on the 2. If you play with right English, you'd be trying to play basically straight up the table. That's a good shot. Maybe just a hair harder. That's totally fine. Now here, I think you're going to play... Try to keep it a little bit shallower, so I might just use a little bit of draw so that it plays a sliding ball. As it was, I kind of was going straight at the 3, so the 6 was always in play. If you play with a little bit more sliding ball shot, then you can come deeper into the pocket and out, and then play for the 3 in the side. I think was the best shot that I could see there. 3 in the side position was also good because the 5 being on the end table, you could go up and down, or you could come down straight at it depending on the angle. So you had some options. Playing it safe, pretty good idea. It looked like he was trying to play behind the 5. So here I'm trying to bank this ball and hold it for the 5 ball. Play the speed just to make it a little bit tougher to get back. Sort of play the speed on every bank shot, so I kind of know how it's going to go. I didn't play that particularly well. I think I needed to play the line a little bit better instead of the cue ball and try to make it turn a shot that was not a stop shot into a stop shot, and it just didn't work. So I think he's going to kick at this ball. Good hit. It's left me pretty tough, so I'm playing safe here, trying to bump the 3 down to the end rail around the second diamond, between the first and second diamond on the end rail. I think I hit it a little bit too thin. May have elevated it a little bit. Yeah, a little bit too thin. Left a shot. would end up pretty good had he made it. So I gotta play a rail first, 2 rails after contact, potentially 3 rails. Underhit it a little bit, but I'm okay with that. Playing the 5 to cut it and then go up and down. Touch of right English, hoping to get to the other side of the ball where the 9 is at. So I'm playing aggressively here. So I'm playing a touch of left English, trying to punch it to the rail and then use the left English to guide it and go 4 rails back around the table. Side rail, end rail, side rail, back to the side rail, and end up short side on the 7. But I think I drew it a little bit and scratched. So now he has 3 balls with ball in hand here. Pretty easy. Just leave the cue ball right there, basically, or a little bit more angle, and then I'd probably just play it straight in the corner. That's 8 ball, just by going straight up at it. You could also try to draw for this 8 in the side, and that would be fine. Trickled it in. Three to 2. It's a pretty good break here. I think I threw 2 goes. I just need to draw back. It's a pretty routine situation. The 4 to the 5 is the only real trick here. It's not even really a trick. There's a lot of ways to play it. I was trying to play it to leave a little bit of angle on the 4. I came up short of what I wanted to do. I wanted to be closer to the rail so I could go end rail and then back between the 9 and the 5. I think maybe here I decided I was just going to draw back and play for the side pocket. I went above it. Just got to concentrate on drawing this ball and use proper speed. This is mostly low. Just a touch of left, but not a lot because it's just the actual angle of the shot itself. The throw induces, or the angle, the gearing of it induces spin onto the cue ball. So you don't actually need to put as much left English as you think, because it's going to be having left English on it after it hits the 5 just through the nature of the contact. Here I should have drawn, or I think I should have followed it. My first instinct was to follow it. and then play for the right side of the 9 to shoot it in the left bottom corner pocket. But I ended up deciding to just change my mind and draw this ball, and I just hit it with a little bit of a weak stroke. That could have scratched in the side, so I hit it soft, and that caused me to get a little bit out of line here. Here I should just be playing this with just to make it, play 2 rail shape back kind of towards the end rail by the chalk, natural. And I overcut it again and then left him this shot. So that's 3 9-balls that I've missed and scratched and left a 3-ball out with ball in hand. Other than that, I'm playing decent, really. Score's 4-2. Kyle's break. There we go. Pretty good break here. Tied up the 6 and the 9, unfortunately. I don't know if he can go into the 6 when he shoots this 3-ball, if that's even the right shot. Might play a safety, I don't know. Play the 3 to make it, and then end up coming back around to the 6 and hasn't been cleared out by then played the safe on the 6. Could potentially go into it here by using follow, maybe left English and playing it rail first with the breakout. May not have been possible, it's hard to know from the angle. I think one thing that I'm noticing about Kyle's I'm not aware of is how much he swings the cue around when he's looking at the shots. And it's not a bad thing to do. It's just I find that's an unconscious behavior. And I'm trying to eliminate any extra body motions. I'm trying to visualize in my mind the shot, not using my body to try to mimic the shot. Maybe I need to add that, I'm not sure. So he's missed and left me hooked. This kick shot does not look right to me, but I ended up hitting it anyways and missed it completely. I think I hit it too hard. I was using right English to throw it wide because the natural angle wasn't there. And then hit it too hard and it didn't grab. So now he has the ball in hand with 3 balls. Probably just play a stop shot here, play the 6, go to the end rail and back up for the 9. Just maintain the angle that you're creating. I don't like trying to get straight in on the 6. unless like a straight in shot is like makes the 9 really easy, in which case it's fine. If you're trying to get straight on the 9, you do not want to get straight in on the 6 though. So it's all going to be fine, of course, because this is all manageable. Pretty good. Five to 2. Pretty good situation here. I think I should have done something else here. I think I should have went forward to the side rail. I'm not sure. Maybe I should have drawn. I was trying to leave myself to where I could easily go shoot between the 6 and the 7. I don't know. I think I'm a little bit confused at this point. I haven't been playing very strong, and I think it's starting to become more of a thing in my mind than it needed to be, because I know that I've been playing mostly well. I've just been making mistakes that have caused me to not succeed. But overall, I think I'm doing everything well. I'm making mental mistakes. And this is another one. I think I end up missing this 3-ball, which is not typical of my game. I normally just pick a spot and then I do the math to make sure that I get there, but for some reason I'm struggling with that. Deviated from my pre-shot routine there. I can see that, so it's a little bit unfortunate. Trying to figure out how to deal with that. So this is not so easy. I think you can just draw back a little bit to get a decent shot on the 4. This is pretty easy. Leave myself close to straight for the 5. Draw back for the 6 and the side, I think is right here. There's not much else to do. Trying to leave myself a little bit further to the right so you get let go rail, cut the 8 to the left and go to this end rail and then back towards the 9, rather than this shot. This shot works pretty well. I am going straight at the side pocket, which is part of the threat of that, is to underhit it. But I navigated this alright. Kind of just made it work. 5-3. Two balls on the break, no position. You have to play a defensive maneuver. If you can hit the right side of the one, I might bank it towards the middle of the end rail and use a lot of right English to try to float the cue ball down underneath the two. Ideally just behind it. Pretty good. It's a little bit of a different route than I thought. Maybe what I was seeing was not as accurate. But he did bump the 8 to get down there too, though. I think this is my best shot here. It's a kick, 2 rails, pocket the 1 and play this shape shot. Would have been a sweet one to get out right here. I could have put that on the reels. I don't think I got out here though. I have to think. So now I'm going to draw. I'm actually expecting to bump the 7. Somehow I drew right through there. I should have played this with just straight follow, I think, and tried to play for the 6 in the side, close to the 7. But I tried to use inside, and this is the second opportunity that I had to miss that shot with inside English, like I was discussing earlier in the set. Just missed it. Left it pretty simple, so here I think you can do what you like. I might just slow roll, touch a left, play the 6 in the side, like I said, by the 7. You could also play 2 rails to the, cutting the 4 to the right or to the left, and then play back to the middle of the table. Either shot is fine. The bridge kind of like tells me I like to hit a little bit of the slower roll shot. It's a little bit more difficult to play position on a tougher power type shot. So we just missed it. I think he was shooting the 2 rail shot there, but just hit it full. So I'm just going to make the 4. It's going to bump the 6. I'm going to play the speed to bump the 6 back out. And just kind of end up wherever. I like playing this in the corner, just low, to play a sliding ball, and then play the 6 and the 7 in the same corner pocket. Just playing the tangent line, and I just missed it. Overcut it slightly. You just kick 2 rails here and it should play natural position for the 7. One thing I've been working on is just making sure that I use the proper amount of English. I've found that a lot of times in the past I've added a little bit of extra running English, and that seems to make the shot not work as well. So I've been focusing on just using the same amount of English for most shots unless I know that I need to add it, in which case I will do that appropriately. That was super close, just a little bit fat off that second rail. Let's play inside off this point. Just draw back for the 8 in the side. Struggle. Now I got a pretty, it's not too bad. I just need to elevate and use draw to create a sliding ball and then play the cue ball back up table. I played 3 rails. Overcut it, so the cue ball wouldn't have gone quite so far. So if I would have made that, I think I would have ended up with a reasonable shot. I think maybe I was worried about the scratch. It caused me to hit it too thin and create a different angle. Probably after getting up there, I would have just gotten up completely and just looked at the shot again. There you go. Just reset the whole operation. Not much going on here. Not quite comfortable. Again, I should have probably looked at this. I see I had some head movement right there and missed. Pretty routine shot, really. But there's lessons to be learned in every mistake. If you allow yourself to see what's really going on, you can learn from everything. So that's what I'm here for. I hope that everyone else is here for that as well. This one I feel like is pretty much going to go in. think this moment when I go to 5-4 was the moment when I was supposed to just break away and start playing better. It just didn't happen, so he just was able to stay in there. Dry break. You just make the 1, float over for the 2, draw back for the 3. Then once he's made the 2 and drawn back for the 3, then you can just play the whole rest of the rack out of the middle of the table. Just control the center of the table. And there will be no problems created. Good shot. Good shot. Now that should be just straight high ball. Playing to the middle of the table. 1 rail to the end rail. Potentially a touch of left. Slightly above center. Let the natural speed of the ball take it to the spot. I feel like on that last stroke it looked like there was a last minute adjustment. The fact that it got overcut means to me that it's probable that he put left English on the last shot and that caused it to swerve. So now I gotta do the same thing here, just play back to the middle of the table. Middle of the table. And everything's gonna be fine. Overrolled that. I just go back and forth. This is just high ball. Use any left English you can scratch. It's underhit slightly. Now I like playing this with a touch of left English to come a little bit, turn it off the rail and go back a little bit close to the side, but not a lot. Just gotta draw this over. Touch of left there. Same thing though. The left English isn't as much as you think because just by cutting it to the right, that applies natural left English. End up a little bit on the rail here, no problem. And missed. I'm playing good up to the last ball. I can see on that last shot that I got down on the ball differently than I'm trying to get down on the rail when the ball's on the rail. So we're working on it. I just kind of was out of sorts here. Pretty routine cut shot for Kyle. 6-4. A lot of these sets that go hill-hill, neither player is really playing up to their capacity. It ends up being just kind of like whoever ends up with the shot at the end that wins, and then someone basically just gives it away. Alright, this is a rollout situation. I prefer typically to roll out to a move, defensive situation more so than an offensive situation. Especially against an offensive player. Most people will take the shot almost no matter what. And you can capitalize on that by making it a little tougher for them and then expecting them to try to go for it. And then if it's too tough, they won't get out. And obviously, if you give yourself a percentage where it's not always going to work, you got to do something. And if you can't go for it, then you got to do something. And I don't necessarily like to leave it to where they can go for it. That was a tough situation where I just made the two tougher. Couldn't really prevent them from shooting at it, just the way the balls were. You had a good shot there. Now, I'm probably going to play this with high left and play it to the end rail, back all the way down and back up, and then just try to end up in that same spot where the cue ball is right now. Like the same shot as that, but with more speed. I think playing the bank shots here is fine. Then the 8 is making it a little bit of a bigger pocket if you hit it way wide. If this ball goes, I might just shoot it to make it and then just bump the 7 with the natural roll. Let's overcut it slightly. Unforced error, but that was a small window. I was playing a totally different shot and just didn't play it well. Maybe I was just not committed to one shot. There's a lesson here. Ball in hand. Scratch. I like playing it straight across. If you're going to shoot that shot with low speed, then you might use a touch of right English to make sure that it doesn't go down table towards the corner pocket. Would have liked to have drawn that maybe an extra like 5-6 inches. This is fine. I'm going to draw a little bit here just to make sure I don't flirt with the side. A little bit too much draw. It's not quite straight in, so I'm trying to use follow to make it and stun it down table. I scratched. 7-4. That's my break. Pretty good break. And ended up with a lot of shots on the break. I had one dry break, and then all the other breaks so far in this set, I've had really good opportunities to break and run, and made really unforced errors from my skill level, I suppose. But it's this day is not the day for that. So I just got to draw between the 4 and the 8, like so. Use a little bit of follow here. Get on the 4. Touch of right English there. So you get it to turn. Now, if it was straight in, I'd play a stop shot, and since it's a little bit of angle, I'm going to follow it. Either shot would have been fine. Now I like a stop shot, so I can play end rail back to the middle of the table for the 8 in the side. I would normally like to use. See, I don't know. I think that was a good shot, but I thought that I was going to play it differently. So now I just need to draw straight back into the rail for the shot on the 9. First good rack I've played here. It's going to be 7-5. Two balls on the break. No shot on the 1. Roll out. Not sure about that one. This just leaves an easy play your cue ball under the 6 by like rolling it. The cue ball, the 1 ball is not going to hit the 5 in order for this shot to happen. I would have considered just bumping the 9 to the end rail and leaving the cue ball where the 9 is roughly, just to make the separation of the balls more difficult. I got frozen to the side of the 6, so that's pretty good. Ideally, I would have been frozen to the bottom of the 6, so he didn't have this cut angle or this kick angle. That was what I wanted. But you also don't want to sell out, so you just got to take what you get, using the 5 as the main blocker, hoping for the 6. Pretty good hit. Left me a good shot, though. Now this is just play with a little bit of draw. Come straight across, a little bit high. Who am I playing it with left? Oh yeah, that's right, I was bumping it. Played to bump it. I'm not sure about that. I feel like my decision making in this set's been a little bit suspicious for my normal. I cut this in the side. Go back up table, back to the middle of the table for the 5 in the corner. Just overcut it. maybe I thought that if I hit it in that I was going to hit the 5, so I may have aimed and changed my aim line to avoid the 5. Not sure. A little bit of draw with left. Works good. You can go 3 rails around for the 5 on the side is fine. Not sure what kind of English that was. Maybe right English there to check it. Seems like it would want to run it a little bit further than that, the way I was envisioning. I like the jump shot here. Scratch. Wanted to have more angle on that so I could play back to the center of the table. Now I'm forced to shoot this in the side and I don't have a good angle to get to the side. So I'm going to have to go across the shot line with this shot. Try to end up perfect. Kind of a quick stroke there. Missed. I think I need to take a little bit more time with my visualization and lock it in. It seemed like I just wasn't seeing the ball pretty much this whole set towards the end of the rack. Over bumped it. Just hoping that it wouldn't, that it would go there. It's just a little bit too far, it looks like. Too far. And missed. I think that's 6 9-balls that I missed so far. 5 maybe. Pretty non-standard. At least 3 that were that angle. But, you know, if you believe you know the shot and then all of a sudden you start missing it, that means you're looking at it and thinking about it the wrong way because you do know the shot. It doesn't change. 8 to 5. almost can see it, but I don't think I can see it here. I'm pretty sure I have to roll out. When I roll out in this situation, I think I'm going to bump the 4 to the end rail to make it just a tougher rack. This is one of those interesting sets where just because one person is ahead of the other person does not mean necessarily that they've done very much good stuff for themselves. Not to say that you had a choice. I missed the shots that I missed, and you missed the shots that you missed. And this is what happened. But overall, we just have to take the fact that you don't really get to dictate what your opponent does and take that into consideration. And he has been making the 9 balls, and most of them have been pretty tough actually, so there's credit there. The majority of those 9 balls just came after unforced errors on my part, which is my deal to worry about. I think you overrolled that. Shoot this all the way down and just kind of hold your cue ball to be straight in on the 7 ideally. Pretty good. Just follow this and play to the right side of the 8. Maybe that wouldn't have worked. It seemed like the natural would have been to bump the 8, which I think is why the overcut happened. Left me pretty tough here. I'm going to have to kick at it. Thought about jumping it, but it's just a little bit too far away. The 9 is too far away, and if I was to make it, it seemed to me as though the 9 might block the shot, so I elected to kick at it to try to create more position opportunity, and that played out the way I was hoping it would. I'm doing a lot of good things here. I'm just lacking in consistency, which I think is a focus issue. The set was a little bit late at night and at the end of the day, so I wasn't quite prepared, maybe. Pretty solid position here. Should be fine. It's going to make it 8-6. Not really the best swing even on that shot. I feel like I'm punching it like a little bit like a nervous power, not as relaxed and smooth. dry break. 3 is a little bit tricky. 2 is tricky to get shape on, so I'm going to play underneath. If I can't get a proper angle, I'll play safe. There's a lot of stop shot safeties that work well here if you stay underneath the balls. The 5 and 4 plays good blockers. Let's overcut it slightly. If I had hit it and to make it, then that cue ball would be below where it was, and then maybe a shot to like play cue ball all the way down table. The two all the way down, and then play for either a bank or a safety on the 3. Balls are pretty clustered up to make this a difficult rack. A little bit off angle here. I don't want to risk getting blocked by the 5, so I'm not using any power. I'm just going to roll the ball to keep the cue ball in line for the 2. And then it looks like because of that, my goal here is going to be to play safety on the 3. If I could reliably get position on a bank shot, I'd consider it. But the 6 ball is tricky anyways, and the 7. So it's not imperative that I go for it here 100% of the time. So I think I'm just going to take my licks and play a safety on the 3. And for that, I think I just want to be below where I'm at, so that I can bank the 3-2 rails and then use the 7, 6, and 8 as blockers. Didn't work as well as I'd like. He doesn't have a shot though, so this is going to be a move. I think he ends up playing the 3 to the right behind the 8. I don't think he's cutting it in. Maybe you could cut and combo it in. Speaking about the cut combo. Played thin behind it. Good shot. I think the 6 is blocking the kick at the side. So I'm looking to play it off the 6 and then leave the cue all behind the 8. And I just got to make sure to get enough speed to get a rail. Play this to bank it towards the end rail, and then stay down table, opposite leave distance, and potentially the 9 or the 4 or the 5 as blockers. More likely the 9 or the 6, I say. Well, focus issue on, there we go. Okay. Let's make this ball and go towards the 9. struggle. Pretty simple shot too, so not very happy with that. You just play below the 4 to shoot it past the 5 in the corner here. Not sure what exactly the target shot was there to bump the 5, maybe? If that wouldn't have hit the 9, I think it would have went over by the 6. Not sure if he's trying to bump the 9. Now here, I would probably use low right. Try to draw to the side rail, spin to the end rail and back up to shoot the 7 in the corner. That shot just needed to be made, and then it would have been probably okay. Let's keep the cue ball kind of in that region to play the 8 in the corner. Too much. Didn't stay down very well in that shot. And another miss. Pretty easy shot here. Overall, I'm going to make some brief commentary here after this is over. I would say the main thing for Kyle to work on is to play more precise precision by looking to see where he needs to be before he gets down on the ball. Seems to me as though the shape position is not a priority, and focusing on only shot making makes it just doesn't work as well as adding the complexity of playing position and then the iterative process required to go between making sure you make the ball with the English that you need to use to get the proper shot and also still make the ball, because if you just stick with your initial visualization and then you have to change and use different English, then that changes the contact point, so you have to do the iteration and the work of doing that. Overall, good stuff. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Have a great day.